All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling something a little different, the path to greatness, but maybe not how you'd expect.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
We're looking at this article, The Silent Path to Greatness, Stoic Principles for Success.
I see. So less shouting from the rooftops and more.
Exactly. What if keeping those goals quiet is the real key? It's a fascinating take.
Definitely goes against the whole announce it to the world trend.
Right. So the article kicks off with this idea that broadcasting your plans could actually be, well, bad for you.
Setting yourself up for a fall before you even begin. I could see that.
Yeah, they call it the dopamine trap. Basically, talking about a goal gives you that reward feeling prematurely.
Like you've already achieved it just by saying it out loud. Makes sense.
And then poof, the drive to actually do the work kind of disappears.
Brains tricks you. Boom, satisfaction delivered. No need to work further, right?
Exactly. It's like telling everyone you'll write a novel.
And suddenly you're Hemingway in your own mind.
But, haven't written a word yet.
Happens all the time. Then sitting down to actually write feels, yeah, the excitement's gone.
You got that dopamine hit already just from talking.
And that's where the Stoics come in, I'd imagine.
You know it. Action over words. That's their jam. Like planting a seed, you don't keep digging it up to check, right?
Exactly. You trust the process, let it do its thing underground,
You nurture it quietly, let the results speak for themselves.
which is a stark contrast to how many of us operate today.
Total validation seekers, right? Why are we so obsessed with what others think?
Deeply ingrained, I'd say. Societal conditioning, approval from parents, teachers, then peers.
It's almost like we give our power away by caring so much.
And ironically, most people are so wrapped up in their own stuff, they aren't analyzing your every move.
So all that worrying is for nothing.
Often, yep. Which is what makes this article so refreshing. Trust your judgment, move forward confidently.
It's freeing, right? Then there's this whole bit about protecting your energy.
Ah, yes, those energy vampires.
Yeah.
Negativity, distractions, bad relationships.
Draining you dry, stopping you from reaching your goals.
And here's where that Stoic self-control comes in handy. Epictetus said, if someone provokes you, your mind is complicit.
Meaning, we have a choice in how we react.
Big time. Every minute spent on drama is a minute not spent improving yourself.
So true. Makes you think, what are my energy drains? What could I cut out?
Excellent question. And it's not just external stuff either.
Getting into the internal now.
This article touches on mastering our emotions, not letting reactions control us. Again, Marcus Aurelius, brilliant guy, said, you control your mind, not outside events.
So how does this tie back to being silent on the path to greatness?
Because sometimes silence is the most powerful response. Not reacting impulsively, but pausing, observing, responding intentionally.
It's like actions speak louder than words, but silence is even louder than actions.
Exactly. Cultivating that inner strength, letting actions speak for themselves. This article really makes you rethink how to reach your goals. And that brings us to, I think, one of the most powerful points in this whole article, the idea of letting your results do the talking. It's like, whoa, hold on. Isn't that the opposite of how we're told to do things?
Right. No hype, no constant updates, just do it and then show the world.
Exactly. And Seneca, another Stoic, he really nails it when he talks about this trap of expectancy. We get so caught up in dreaming about the future, we forget to actually,
Live in the present, do the work now. It's so easy to fall into that, though.
oh, absolutely. You get that initial buzz, tell everyone your big plans, and then life.
And all those day-to-day things just kind of bury that excitement.
But that's where real accomplishment comes from, right?
Yeah.
That sustained effort, chipping away over time.
Yeah.
And there's this interesting thing the author points out about those truly successful people.
Okay, yeah, what about them? I'm
Yeah.
curious now.
They work in silence, often for years, before anyone even knows what they're up to. They hone their craft, no fanfare, just dedicated work.
And then, bam, they unveil this masterpiece. The results speak for themselves.
It's like there are these hidden figures toiling away in the background.
You picture the artist in their studio, the writer at their desk, the entrepreneur building their empire. All that work, no one's seeing it until it's ready.
Exactly. No need for applause along the way. The final product is the statement. And you know what? The article even has this 30-day challenge.
Ooh, I love a good challenge. What is it?
Pick a goal, work on it in total silence for 30 days, tell no one, no feedback, just pure action.
Wow, that's pretty intense. It's like a willpower boot camp.
Right. You're forced to rely on your own internal compass. No external validation allowed.
Could I do it? I don't know. I love to share my progress.
It'd be tough, but so valuable. We're so conditioned to seek approval constantly.
This challenge strips all that away, which kind of leads to that other theme the article keeps coming back to, discipline.
Yeah, building that foundation. Because motivation, it's fleeting.
Comes and goes as it pleases. Discipline, though, that's the backbone. Showing up even when you don't feel like it.
Absolutely. And there's that Marcus Aurelius quote again. I love it. He says, treat your daily responsibilities as part of your existence, not something to negotiate with.
No excuses, just do it.
That's discipline in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And successful people across any field, they get this. They train, practice, create, whether they're inspired or not.
Because consistency is key. Not the one-off bursts of energy, but that steady, daily effort.
Which, circles back to working in silence. If you're disciplined, you don't need to announce your plans. You're already doing it.
Actions speak louder, right? It's like that saying, walk the walk, don't just talk the talk.
Exactly. So if we were to sum up this whole article, what's the core message here? What should we take away from it?
I think it's a pushback against all the noise and distractions we're bombarded with. It's about focusing on what truly matters and letting the results speak for themselves.
You got it. Reclaiming that agency, letting go of needing constant validation, walking that silent path to greatness, which, as we've been saying, is so much more than just keeping your goals secret.
It's a whole mindset shift. And, while we've been discussing this, it's got me thinking.
Oh, I like where this is going.
What if we took this idea of silencing the noise a step further? What if we also explored silencing the noise inside us?
Whoa, okay. You're blowing my mind a little here. What do you mean by that?
I mean, all those doubts, fears, the negative self-talk we all deal with. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if silencing that noise was just as important as tuning out the external stuff?
That is fascinating. It's like we try to filter out the world's noise,
Yeah.
but sometimes the loudest critic is right here in our own heads.
Okay, so before the break, we were getting into some pretty deep stuff. This idea that quieting the noise inside us might be just as important as, shutting out all the external distractions.
Really makes you think about how we approach personal growth, doesn't it? Like we're so focused on filtering out the world's noise.
But sometimes the most persistent, the most annoying noise is coming from our own heads.
Exactly. It's like having this inner critic who never pays rent, but just hangs out in your mind 24/7.
Whispering all those doubts and fears. What if you're not good enough? What if you fail? It's crippling.
Totally. And while that article, The Silent Path to Greatness, really focuses on that external silence, I think you're spot on. Mastering that internal dialogue, that's huge.
So how do we actually do that? I mean, is it as simple as just telling those thoughts to shut up?
Well, I don't think it's quite that simple. You can't just delete those thoughts and feelings completely. They're part of being human.
Right. So it's more about, I don't know, changing how we relate to them, acknowledging they're there, but not letting them control us.
Exactly. And that's where those Stoics, they had some really good insights. They were all about reason and self-control. They knew thoughts influence our emotions, our actions. So that they developed these techniques to kind of manage that inner world.
Okay, like what? I'm always up for some practical tips.
Well, one that's really powerful is called cognitive reframing. It's basically about challenging those negative thoughts
Okay.
and consciously replacing them with something more positive, more realistic.
So instead of thinking, I'm going to fail, you'd think.
You could reframe that as, I'm going to learn and grow from this no matter what happens.
Ah, I see. So it's not about denying the possibility of failure. It's about...
It's about shifting your perspective from fear of failure to that growth mindset.
That makes a lot of sense. What else?
Mindfulness meditation, that's a big one. It's basically just paying attention to the present moment without judgment.
Oh, I've heard about that. But does it really work?
When you do it regularly, you start to become more aware of your thoughts, your feelings. You learn to observe them without getting swept away.
So it's like you create some distance. Those thoughts don't have as much power over you.
Right. And as you get better at this mindfulness thing, you realize thoughts are just thoughts. They're not facts.
Mind blown. We're really getting into some deep stuff here. It's like this whole idea of working in silence, it has this whole other dimension.
It's not just about external quiet. It's about creating that quiet space within ourselves.
And from that quiet place, that's where creativity, intuition, all that good stuff can come out.
You said it. True greatness emerges from that place of quiet confidence.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I mean, thinking back to the article, it seems like the silent path to greatness, it's both outward and inward.
Absolutely. Quieting the distractions around us, but also cultivating that quiet mind within.
Mastering both those worlds.
And in the end, it's about taking charge. of our thoughts, our emotions, our actions.
It's realizing we have the power to create the life we want, even when everything around us feels chaotic.
Yeah, that true power comes from within.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. If greatness doesn't need an audience, not from the outside world, not from our own inner critic, what would you dare to achieve if you truly believed in yourself? If you silenced all those doubts?
Powerful question. Maybe the answer isn't just about reaching the goal, but about the journey itself. The journey of quieting the noise, mastering our minds, walking that silent path toward our own unique version of greatness.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that in your own silent reflections. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep striving for greatness in all its quiet glory.